Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I still feel you are calling me Longe.
Okay.
Longe. Thank you. So I'd mentioned that I would be on Twitter Space on Saturday.
Nice.
It's in commemoration of the International Vultures Awareness Day.
Cool.
So I've been taking like small, short videos of everyone just telling me what they think about vultures, whatever you know, whether you know anything or not. And I'm going to post it on my page in celebration of the day.
Where did they send this up to you? Where?
No, don't worry, I'll do yours
Okay,
today.
okay.
I was just going around and taking videos,
cool.
so I'll do yours.
Cool.
And then that's just to celebrate the day and just bring awareness about vultures and the role that they play in our environment. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
It's tomorrow, Saturday at 6 p.m.
Honestly, you need to organize your own event too. You need like a proper...
You're back on Twitter?
Yes. No, that's a backup page.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So I'm back on Twitter. It's a backup page for now because I'm still struggling to get my main page back.
How you doing, Toby?
I'm very well, thank you. Yesterday, we went to my son's school for meet and greet. It's a new session, so my son had to be acquainted with his new teacher, his new class, and it was just a beautiful experience because I'm just starting the school journey as a parent, and I'm just grateful for it, even though school fees has increased, but we're surviving, and I'm just really very grateful
That's really
for
nice. We got, we're supposed to go today. But so because...
We did yesterday. We had to go yesterday.
Oh, wow, you guys are, you're so good.
Yeah.
How you doing,
It's still
Tope?
shocking
Awesome.
us.
It's still shocking because I totally forgot I was supposed to go, but that's a good...
No, but you know, you said this school fees matter. I've had a conversation with someone last year about planning for secondary school, and the man gave me a very strong advice I'd like to share with Nigerians generally. You don't plan your children's school fees as a prayer point. You don't plan you don't budget your children's school fees based on the money you are hoping to make. You plan and pick a school for your children based on the monies that you are guaranteed that you have made last year, you will make this year, the one that is sure. Because that's why many people now, it is the last week of going to school. There is now prayer, God of miracles, show up. Your budgeting is not based on prayers. You budget with the past, and then you are hoping that when you make more money in your future, you budget more. Please, let's not...
The error we made is that we're focusing so much on the secondary school fees that we completely forgot about it, that there are 3 other children. So everything was like, we have the money for this. So when he now finally say, hey, what are the other 3 children? Those ones, we have to wait, because we have, in fact, they will wait another 1 or 2 weeks because we are not going to put ourselves under pressure because we've all focused on secondary school.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes you have to just focus. All right.
What's your plan for the weekend?
Weekend, I have, in fact, September, I was just lamenting, this September is just a September of
Yeah, speaking.
every day, like all my weekends during the week, back to back, like I keep getting September, and I'm thinking, please, this September should just come and go a big. But I thank God for it. I'm glad. Praise the Lord. You know, let's go on a break. I have a JCI event. I'm a panelist on an event tomorrow, and I think I have another one again on Sunday. So let's go on a break. We'll come back. We'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Federal government holds Nigeria Air. AU suspends Gabon. More protests over NDDC board. FG plans Lagos-Abuja highway, says Umahi. Tinubu to deliver Nigeria's statement at Onga, September 19th. APC suspends ex-speaker, ex-SSG, 26 others in Osun. Government hammer to fall on illegal miners, says Minister. Edu, 15 million indigents to get federal government cash transfer. All right, which story are we starting with in the nation? Let me do the major airlines. So the federal government has suspended all contracts awarded in respect of the controversial project of the airports. According to the aviation minister, he said that the contracts awarded were suspended. The ones that are approved by the immediate past minister, Hadi Sirika, devoted the energy in the last days of the Buhari administration. He was saying specifically that there are plans for comprehensive reform of the sector to put things right. So beginning October 1st, all foreign airlines will begin to originate their flights from the new terminal of the MMA to pave way for the renovation of the old terminal. And also, he said he's going to be the airline, the Nigeria Air, which is the project that Nigerians have been waiting for all this while. He said until he briefs the president to really give him the real status, we can't do anything right now concerning Nigerian Air. So he owes the president the explanation, and he has to ensure that everything is right before we can go ahead for transactions concerning the Nigeria Air we're hoping for. According to him, as last count, the FG had sunk about 3 billion naira into the Nigeria Air project before May 29. That's a lot of money. And Ethiopian Airlines, which got the franchise to run the national carrier, was to have 49% stake. But we know how that went. So we'll see what happens after he speaks to the president on the Nigeria Air project. And
I have the plan for NDDC by the newly appointed managing director of NDDC. He's promised to speed up the development in the area. He says he's humbled and honored by the trust and confidence that the president has placed on him by reappointing him as MD/CEO of NDDC. He's grateful for the rare opportunity to serve the people of the Niger Delta. He also says they are currently in talks with various local and international entities to explore areas of synergy and cooperation that will benefit the people. He's also grateful for the cooperation and support he's getting from governors, legislators, traditional rulers, and community leaders. But we also have some aggrieved supporters and members of the APC who yesterday demonstrated against the appointment of alleged PDP party member Asu Okang as the state representative at the NDDC board. The protesters started their demonstration on Wednesday, and they've asked for the governor's intervention in the matter. Governor Basi Otu was there and he was accompanied by Senator Florence Itagiwa, as we all know as Mama Bakassi, and you know they're talking about it. But he says that he assures them that the president is going to look into it and that the president loves Cross River State. So we have women also who have staged peaceful protests about this. So it looks like this is something that the people in Cross River feel really strongly about, and we'll see how this will be resolved.
The federal government plans Lagos-Abuja Super Highway, says Umahi. So the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, had gone to Ogun State to visit the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, yesterday, and he made this known, stating that the Lagos to Abuja highway that is going to start construction in the next 2 months would help shorten travel time between Lagos and Abuja and also interconnect more states. And he says that this will be a public-private partnership and it's not going to be solely funded by the government. And yes, the project is to commence in 2 months' time.
The way all our ministers are talking, we need to continue like this all through this administration. We have another minister that is giving update on what she's going to be working on. Dr. Betta Edu has announced yesterday in Abuja that there will be a 15 million naira ingest to households, that 15 million
indigents.
Yes. So there was an error somewhere in that. But she said that they'll be doing this through the conditional cash transfer, which has been expanded. She said she'll be getting approval from the president at the next FED meeting on Monday. But she highlighted the fact that eradicating poverty is one of the 8-point agenda of the president, and this is the first step they'll be doing. They'll be carrying out, as in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation will be carrying out to help in delivering that. She said she had a wonderful meeting with the World Bank, and based on the good deliberation, 15 million households will be getting money. They said each of these households have about 5.7 person each, and these are poor, vulnerable people, and the list is the extended list. There was a list before, but they've added more people to the list, and it will be a conditional transfer. The ministers are speaking, and we're happy to hear that there's activities.
Yes, yeah, as you said, it should sustain it continuously. We'd like to see that. Moving on now to the Punch. Fear coup, AU suspends Gabon as Cameroon, Rwanda, retired generals, and 1,000 soldiers. Picture story here, 12 children. Over 60 others die in South Africa building fire. Jealous lover kills girlfriend with sledgehammer. All theft. Navy arrests Tompolo's men. Security from kicks. AGF CBN government threatened with arrest for shunning reps probe. Airport expansion. Government to demolish multi-billion naira Lagos private jet terminals. And FG states local government share 4.37 trillion in 6 months, says Nati. Okay, let me take the picture story. For those of us following some international news, you see, you heard about the fire that happened in South Africa. So what happened was about 12 children have been confirmed dead. And 60 others were injured. 74 others' bodies were recovered from, I think it was a 5-story building in central Johannesburg from the Gauteng province. The forensics head was saying that 74 bodies were recovered, 24 female, 40 male, 10 burnt beyond recognition. And there were 12 children also burnt in this tragedy. Very, really sad. We don't know, at the time of this report, they don't know exactly the cause of the fire, but some people were able to escape through various exit doors. But some people were speaking to the newspapers saying that they luckily just got out from the fire exit that was created. But really, really sad story. And I mean, our hearts go out to families in South Africa.
So, jealous lover kills girlfriend with sledgehammer. The Lagos State Police Command said it has arrested one Samuel Adeniyi, who allegedly killed his girlfriend with a sledgehammer, which he hit on her head in a yet-to-be-disclosed area of Lagos State. So apparently, he had done that and he ran away. And so this lady was found in a pool of her own blood. And so when they found him, they said, "Why did you do what you did?" And he said that he was scared that his wife or his girlfriend was going to leave him. And so in a bid to protect her from going to other people, he had to kill her. And I mean, this story is just very, very sad. And the commissioner of police says that he was consumed by his emotions, that was the reason he gave. But they are sure that we would bring him justice. To justice.
Yes, I do. So, airport expansion, federal government to demolish multi-billion naira Lagos private jet terminals. So, we have some 2 multi-billion naira private jet terminals, and I need to get their names. So we have one that belongs to Dominion Air, and that's the arm of Living Faith World Outreach Winners Chapel. And then Evergreen Hangar is owned by and operated by a private company. The reason for this demolition is for it to make way for the new international airport terminal, so that bigger aircraft are able to use. So those hangars are impeding, you know, the movement of planes. So the Murtala Mohammed Airport, the one will be locked up during this operation. But they said Hadi Sirika, the last aviation minister, had complained about it, had actually explained that this is in the way, so it has to go.
It has to go. Yeah. All right. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still in Punch. Sokwe had a story.
Yes. So update on the Gabon coup is the fact that the Gabon military junta is planning to restore they have refused to restore the ousted President Ali Bongo to power. They've also said that they are going to be putting in a transition president to a general that would then do a transition into democratic rule. The other party, though, the other party claims that they won the election. The other party, which is the major opposition, feels that they won the election and they should be the one that should have been put into power. The other party's name, they have condemned the fact that there's going to be military rule at all, that they felt the election was already sabotaged, that it wasn't a case of they didn't win the election. They won the election and the previous person insisted that they were in power. So if the junta wants to create democracy, what they should have just done was to declare their own candidate the winner. Based on the fact that there's a coup sweeping around, that's not what they said though, but Rwanda has retired all their major generals. They have retired generals. They have done this as a way to also protect democracy within the country. The AU then suspended Gabon as a strong message against the fact that there are consistent coup taking place across the Africa.
I think Kagame still has been there for some time.
A long
20
time.
something years, 2000 I think. He's pretty young, so he has another 50 years to go.
Eh?
Moving on to Daily Sun. FG suspends Nigeria Air shuts old Lagos International Airport October 1. Atiku urges African leaders to address causes of coup and not symptoms. AU suspends Gabon over coup as Cameroon reorganized military. I was not sacked as Delta governor, says Obo Revori. Flood claims 5 lives in Adamawa as Nasarawa orders evacuation from riverine communities. Report, experts brand Naira Africa's worst currency. And Iwanyanwu Ayim, others meet over Igbo Heroes Award. All right, so the candidate of the PDP at the recent elections, Atiku Abubakar, was saying yesterday in a tweet saying that political leaders must find the root cause of the recent spike in the continent's coup that's been happening in the last few months. According to him, he said military takeovers were worrisome, adding that the call for introspection, it's a call for introspection. More importantly, he said that democracy and democratic governance have come to stay as the preferred form of government, and everything should be done to enthrone, nurture, and sustain it. So he's saying that ECOWAS should be pragmatic, have a pragmatic engagement that will pave the way for the soldiers to return to the barracks, and hopefully they can continue negotiations with the various regions of the coup. He didn't categorically say he supports the president. He said that the president had found, though he acknowledged that the president had found at the recurring coups, but he didn't outrightly say that he supported the president. But he's saying he agrees that democratic rule must be sustained across these African countries.
So the story about the governor of Delta State being sacked went viral yesterday, and the spokesperson to the governor, the chief press secretary actually to the governor, Sir Festus Haon, in a statement clarified that that wasn't what happened. What happened was earlier, the tribunal that was supposed to handle the case of petition, gubernatorial election petition, had struck out that the case shouldn't, on technicality, they had struck out the case from being handled, and Mr. Pella, who was the governor for Pella, who was the gubernatorial candidate for Labour Party, had gone to the appeal court to say that his case should have been heard in the tribunal. So the appeal court didn't disqualify or cancel the election or say the election is now a Labour Party win, only said that the tribunal should listen to the case of the Labour Party candidate, Mr. Ken Keller, against the PDP candidate. The statement from the Chief Secretary said that the election was obviously won by the PDP candidate, that people came out en masse to vote for the PDP candidate, and that even if it goes to tribunal, they will still just find out that PDP won, that the statement that came out was a false statement. The appeal court cannot declare who has won the election in Delta State. So it has all Deltans to calm down. There's no need to fight, focus on delivering dividends of democracy.
Yes, I have a story from Edo State. They say no fewer than 10 people were reportedly killed in suspected cult-related shootings in Benin City and in Auchi. They said this happened in the last 3 days. There are 4 victims of these killings that happened yesterday. They said at Upper Mission, Okun, and Oluku areas in Benin City. And they said that this battle is a supremacy battle between members of Black Axe Confraternity, Mafite, and AA groups. And this has led to killing of mainly youths. There are some eyewitnesses that report, someone, a big boy alongside his girlfriend that were shot, but fortunately for them, they're in hospital recuperating. There's a final year of student of Auchi Polytechnic who got caught in the crossfire. She was just an innocent bystander when the cultists were trying to shoot at their target, and they got her instead, and they shot her dead. So they said that this has been happening for a while. The area is tense, and they said cult-related clashes have become a trend among young students in Auchi in attempts to outsmart one another. So that's what they're dealing with right now in Edo State.
Really, really sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the flood story in Adamawa, and the floods have claimed no fewer than 5 lives in different parts of Adamawa State. We would recall that the Cameroon government had written to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs signifying the intention to open the floodgates of the Lago Dam. And so as a result of that, the floods have come to Adamawa State and no fewer than 5 people have been killed. The Adamawa Emergency Management Agency, through their executive secretary, Dr. Suleiman Mohammed, had made a disclosure in Yola yesterday, noting that several homes and business premises have been affected by the flood. And in some local government areas, the representative also is saying that people should leave their environments. They should leave, especially those that have their houses situated in flood-prone communities. But it seems that it's just a difficult place for the residents to be because they're not having alternatives to move into. And the government is trying to sort that out currently for the residents in Adamawa State.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard, very cool. Quickly, cool scare. Sit tight, leaders move against their military. FG to establish mobile courts on FGM sexual harassment in schools and others, says Minister. 25th anniversary, our 16 years in power, Nigeria's golden era PDP boasts. FG shuts MMA October 1. Nigeria, UN signed MOUs to tackle terrorism. 2,588 children sexually abused in Lagos. Poor governance responsible for banditry, kidnapping in Northwest. Hardship. With patience, determination will succeed, says our president. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Naira has been declared as the worst performing currency in Africa. Yeah. And even though a lot of reforms have been taking place by the Nigerian government to fix the financial challenges of Nigeria, the fact is that the Naira, in the rating of all the currencies, as bad as some economies are, is the worst. This rating came about the highest and strongest currencies in Africa by Classify.com. And they also did for the world, and no African country emerged in the top 10 for the world, obviously. And they said that's not shocking because we can see that Africa has the world's 10 most underdeveloped and developing countries. And even though Africa is where most of the resources that sustains the other countries come from, AU needs to get their act together. It's not politics. So major currencies, you're talking about the demand for the US. We're talking about the fact that the conversation is that the president still has a whole lot to do. The top in the list is the Tunisian dinar, Libyan dinar. That's the Libya that they are still trying to get themselves together. Morocco, dirham, Ghana cedis is they are among the top 5, as well as Botswana, Pula, and Seychelles rupees.
All right, let me take the story concerning, really disturbing actually. A report has been provided by the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. The permanent secretary of the agency, Mrs. Shitobe, represented the executive secretary, that's Mrs. Titolala Idowu Owohunwa, said that 2,000 588 children were sexually and emotionally abused in Lagos within the last 1 year. That's between July last year and August this year. From August last year to July this year. The agency, according to them, have handled 5,624 cases, which are in two categories, adults and children. What is actually more interesting to me, however, is that there was a data that really caught my attention. Yeah, the agency receives an average of 250 clients every month. For adults, 91% of the survivors are female, 9% were male. However, for children, look at the numbers, 45% were boys and 55% were girls. What that is communicating to us is we focus so much on the girl child, how to support her, forgetting that 45% of our boys are being sexually abused. So we need more initiatives for boys from this data saying that 45% of the children that come for sexual abuse cases in the last 1 year are boys. So that's something to think about.
So,
another story?
As the follow-up story on that, the federal government is to establish mobile courts in schools in Nigeria. And so, in a push to enhance women participation in governance and combat gender-based violence, the federal government is set to establish mobile courts. And these courts will be focusing on female gender mutilation and sexual harassment in tertiary institutions. So it's no more business as usual. We've heard of cases where lecturers, have sexually harassed students, and the federal government is saying now that there will be mobile courts in most institutions in Nigeria to combat this. And the Ministry of Women Affairs also strongly advocates for it. The Global Affairs Canada, the Action Aid Nigeria, organizations are beginning to speak up and are in support of this move by the federal government.
The federal government has signed with the United Nations 2 memorandum of understanding to further strengthen counter-terrorism efforts in the country. Both parties said that the signing ceremony that happened in Abuja on the 30th of August were in furtherance of Nigeria's joint efforts with international community in combating the global menace of terrorism, which remains one of the most complex challenges to the peace, security, and stability of the nation around the world.
Basically.
Okay, we're going to be wrapping up. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we move on to the hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.